Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Bucks for the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Thursday, the 31st, last day of January, and January finished as the best month for the S&P 500 since 1987. How about them apples? It's 31 years. Amazing. What a recovery. And a lot of stocks, as I said the last couple of days, despite the fact that we're overbought, the thrust off the low, when it's this strong, usually triggers more of an intermediate move. And although everyone's looking for the market to come down, the market doesn't accommodate the majority, and the momentum is that strong. We'll see. Starting off with AMD, we're going to take a look at about 30 stocks today. AMD, which broke out of the consolidation range with a breakaway gap yesterday, exploded again today, added another $1.32 or almost 6% on a mere 181 million shares. In the last two sessions, it's traded 400 million on the upside. That's pretty impressive. Now, there is some resistance in the zone, but it looks to me like this is headed to 28.5. If it really gets going, a retest of the double top in September 33, 34 range would be in order. We'll see. Right now, your support happens to be about 22 3/4 and 21.5. APHA, what a nice day today. This swing trade continues to push up another $1.08, 14%. Volume picked up to 13.7 million, the best in about 3-4 weeks. It looks to me like it's on its way. Now, there is a little bit of a channel top here, but I'm looking for at least a test of, say, 9.5 and maybe as high as 10.5, 3/4. So let's take a look in that zone for your next target. Momentum is strong. AU, gold stocks, one of my favorites, as you know, and a swing trade, really looking good in here. It's now been up for 8 days in a row. How about that? Now, it's near the top of the channel, so it may need to pull back and relax, and but my target's 15 at this point. We may get there as early as tomorrow. If it spikes up there, it may be a sell on a short-term basis. But look at this chart. From the August lows at 7, this has now gone more than doubled. Codexis. I really like the look of Codexis overall. But I was concerned about the big drop off the top of the channel, right down to the bottom of the channel. Now, it is forming some sort of pattern that looked like a potential bear flag, never broke down. Held support at 15.25, and today popped it, broke back out again. As far as I'm concerned, Codexis has a shot at doing some good things, but this was a key breakout. Your resistance now and next target is just about 19.75, and then I'm looking at 23 and 25. And then 26.5, 7. Clovis. Well, I've always liked the way Clovis looked after the spike bottom and the pullback, and this is a swing, and this looks pretty good. It got up to resistance at the gap, right there. Pulled back and formed a little flag, reversed, but couldn't follow through, and slowly edged up. Take a look at the high on the 10th of January, 23.58. Excuse me, 23.38, 25.38. Today's high, 25.49, right in that zone. But it closed at 25.36. Net up 76 cents at 3%. Volume was decent, but we need better volume. OBV's moving nicely. I got a feeling you're going to see 28, 32, and maybe 34.5 going forward. This stock could really get going. Stay tuned. Another marijuana stock in play, Cron, probably the strongest one. This stock is ramped from 960 to 20. Not bad. 20.35 high today. Now, if you remember, a long time ago, I drew this coil in. It popped out. Had a nice three-wave corrective. V-bottom with a platform, broke out again, and then, well, obviously the stock's been in great shape, and they have equity investments. You could see the additional movement that might take place towards 24. That would be real overbought at that point, but it looks like it could get there. Junior gold stock EGO ramped, cracked out, broke out with a breakaway gap today on a huge volume relatively for this stock at 8.4 million. Net up 81 cents or 27.5%. A huge move with a breakaway gap above the moving averages. Indicates to me this is going higher. First, we're going to test 4.15, 4 3/4, and maybe 5 3/4 in that 5 3/4, 6 range. That's going to be my intermediate target, a short-term target, closer to 4 3/4. EHTH, one of my top picks for the year now is 61, folks. 61 in just 3 or 4 short weeks. It's gone, 4 weeks. 37 to 61, incredible move. Way overbought here. Now, I'm not saying you can't go higher. Momentum's a funny thing. Keep raising your stops. At this point, you can stop half underneath 56 The rest under 53.5. But as long as the stock still has Momo, maybe this channel is fixated and it's going to continue to rise. I wouldn't bet the farm on it going that much more, but you never know with momentum on this one. Wall Street seems to really like the stock. Recent addition EOLS. Why did I put this out there? Well, even though it hasn't broken the declining topsline and taken out the channel with lateral resistance as well, and it's getting close. And it's been up for 5 days in a row with pretty strong volume, but OBV rising too. I think the stock's destined for a pop and run. 21, 24, maybe even as high as something up around 28 would be my intermediate target. GE, wow. More than 1/3 of a billion shares traded on the stock today. Unheard of for any stock for the most part, but 343 million shares. That's up 11.65%, $1.06. It was the biggest gain they set in 10 years in one day for GE. So for me, obviously the bottom might be in place. However, with lateral resistance at 11, and then a lot more up in the 13 and 14 range, that has to be my targets going forward, if in fact it's going to get up in that zone. Hooyah! The swing trade Hooyah popped and pulled back, but it held the trend line for me. That's your trend line. I think the stock is probably going to accelerate its angle. And we're going to look for something like this. At this point, though, today's reversal of $1.09 or 5.5% on solid volume leads me to believe we may retest the spike high recently at 22.5. We get to that, looking at 24 and then 28. IQ similar, also popping. You can see that the recent pullback in that zone was muted on low volume. Today it popped out and across to a new rally high, up 74 cents at almost 4%. Volume at 7.7 million was decent and at best in 4 days. It looks to me like it might challenge the spike high at 22 and then make a run at 23 3/4. Those are my targets. Well, solar stocks just look good, and some of them in particular, like JK Solar, after a big downtrend. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big fifth wave up. So careful here. You may be in need of a pullback consolidation retest in that zone. Anything down near 14 would be a buy for a move up towards 19. Gold's doing well. Look at the JNUG. 5 days in a row, and a pop from 8.5 to 11.5. Now I had a target near 12, so we may get there. It's actually 11.75, 11 3/4 is your target. And today's high is 11.62. So it's up against resistance. It's a little overbought short term. You may need to pull back and test the 10.5 range, but at some point, I think the stock is going to be up towards 14.50. Keurig. Well, KDP, also one of my top picks for next year, has popped, pulled back and wedged, held support, and now popping again. Today's pop in particular took it out of an inverse head and shoulder bottom across the neckline. As volume picked up to 4 million nearly. For me, I like to look for this stock to make a run at 29, and eventually 33. Gold favorite, KL, first given to you around 13 back in here, has now moved to 32. The stock's on the verge of tripling. And the way it looks now, I had a 32, 33 target, if you recall. That's because the angle of the channel was different. And it looked like this. Let me redraw this for you. Right there. So you can see why that was my target. And we're right there. Having moved from 18 to 32 just since November, the stock may be extended. And it's also at all-time highs. And it's certainly a relative strength leader in the gold sector, along with AU. Those are my two favorites, and they look fabulous. But be aware that this is my swing target, and that I'd love to see a pullback reset in the 28, 29 zone, but then a move into the mid to high 30s. ETF LABU is looking fabulous. I love that inverse head and shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder pattern. Notice that the declining top line, moving averages all broken. The stock consolidated for 3-4 weeks above the moving averages. If you take a close look, you'll see that this flag was broken today. If LABU takes out 50.85, you're going to see, I think, high 50s to low 60s. This looks terrific. LRN, one of my top 30 for next year. Another pop today of $1.58 or 5.3%. Outstanding chart. I'm not sure how high this goes, but it looks like at least a run at the mid-30s is doable. MJ, well, marijuana doing so well, I thought I'd look at the marijuana ETF and look at that thing go. A sharp run off the low after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave decline, popped to resistance, formed a little wedgie, broke out, and is moving up. Got to have targets right there, near 37 and near 44. Those are my targets. NEO. NEO's popped out of a wedge type pattern, basing type pattern. Now there's going to be a tough time for NEO to get past 8 1/4, 8.35. And we're at 7.88 now. But if it does, I'd be looking for 9.5 pretty quickly. Nugget along with JNUG also ramping and at resistance, but this one could be 25 and 28 in a not too short order. OKTA, fabulous chart. This swing has been wonderful. Inverse head and shoulders, explosive move off the low from 52 to 82. And it's no quitting this one. This one broke out again today. And I'm not kidding when I say I think this stock can make it near 100, high 90s. Pixelworks broke out with a thrust today. Now the volume wasn't huge, 500,000. Doesn't take much. It was up 14.5% today and blew through the declining tops line, the 50-day and lateral price resistance. Probably going to test somewhere around 415 to 425 as early as tomorrow right there. The next target beyond that would be a double top at about 460, and then we look at near 5. PYX, well, this thing was really trailing the marijuana group, but suddenly emerged yesterday, or should I say popped yesterday, and emerged today. What I mean by emerged is it took out this, that, and that quadruple top with a pop. It got up to the next resistance level, which was about 18.19, reaching just about 18 today, and then backed off. But I think this still comes on. My targets are 21 and 26.5. New swing QTT broke out today. That's why I put a swing on it. This wedge broke out. I think it's going to ramp up even more. 13.5, 17 potential targets. Software stock SendGrid is at a new all-time high today with a pop of another 378 or 7.5%. Volume was 4.3 million, the best in 4 months. I think we're going to start to see 60, 62 short term. And Sarepta, after a multiple wave decline, 5 waves, started to move up, consolidated like many stocks, blew through the moving average yesterday, and today followed through nicely with a breakout. There's resistance at about 149.50. That'll be my near-term target. Then I'm looking for 160, 365. The ETF for solar, TAM, looking great. Now, a week ago, I mentioned that it's breaking out. I had a target up around the 24 range. Expect to see that as early as tomorrow. If we get through, we could see 27. Any pullback consolidation or 22 is a buy. Teledoc. After a 5-wave decline, this one reversed too. Formed a little coil or wedge, yeah, and broke out. Your target is 66. That could see that earlier tomorrow. And then 72 and 77. Those are my targets. Twilio. Rock and roll time, up another 750 or 7%. 7.2 million shares of stock is at all-time highs today. Where can it go? Well, if it gets through this level, it can ramp into the 140 and even 160 range. Verisight, one of my top picks for the year. Minor little move, but it looks like it's a breakout move. And it closed at the highest level we've seen in this stock, going all the way back to, let's call it a 5-year high. If the channel is true, this should make a move towards 20. And finally, Valero, one of our swing trades, doing great. Another 454 today, 5.5%, 8.3 million, biggest volume on an update on Valero since way back in here, almost 2 years ago. For me, this is the beginning of another big move, I think. My short-term target has to be like 94.5, and then I'm looking for 104.5. That's it for tonight, everybody. What a market.